Woo! I don't know about you, but I look forward to Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. And that's where we are right now. It's Tuesday, 7 o'clock, wherever you are in the world. Maybe you're a day behind or a day above us, but ahead of us, but that's okay. It's still the right time. You're here in the right place for Marketing Made Simple with myself and Scott Vogel, my good friend, who is a master, a genius at marketing, at business, at just being a huge heart-centered person and just awesome dude. And I just got to bring him in here because he is the lifeblood of this entire organization, this entire relationship, this entire business thing that we got going on Tuesdays. And I couldn't do it without you. So nice to have you here again, my friend.
It's wonderful, Joey. And Tuesdays, I look forward to as well. I told you this morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock to do a Bala yoga class at 6:45, which was pretty insane. And I was like, why would I do that when Tuesday is my longer day, knowing I'm going to be on this call for a while? But I was like, doesn't matter. I'm going to show up and have some fun and see what we're going to talk about.
Love it, man. Nice to see you, Angel. As always, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for being here. Love to see you. Monica Murphy, our tribe artist, is in the house. Thank you for the amazing graphics and everything that you do for us inside the Facebook group. And that gives me a nice excuse to actually, pull out the banner here and invite you to the Facebook group, by the way, if you are wondering what the Facebook group is, because I forgot to do that last time. But thank you, Monica, for being here. And thank you for everybody else being here. I see quite a few of you already jumping on. Thank you. And thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts and the likes. And if you like what we're doing, please share it with your community so we can bring in more heart-centered entrepreneurs and help you out with whatever's going on in your world. We'd love to talk about business and marketing and just helping you grow the business. Who else have we got here? Angel, teaching, or today is your teaching day. Then I come and learn from you guys. Awesome. Petra is here. Petra, she is like amazing. Petra is like been here since day one, I think. Right? Yeah. She's been day one, and what an amazing. She just put in this. What's it called? Like a little clip. What would we call that? Is it the official, video clip for our show today?
A video clip for our show today. Yes.
All done with Fast Video Creator.
Yeah, she did an amazing job. She took a scene, she edited it, she did some amazing animations with it that are pretty simple, and it's like was heartwarming to see it. And sound effects, music, great stuff, Petra. Thank you.
Yeah. Just as we were sitting, just before we were going live, it just made me laugh out loud in a good way. It was really, really cool. Thank you for doing that. Lori's here. Thank you for the love and support. As always, you are all amazing. Thank you for being here. So today, what we're going to talk about is let me get rid of that thingy.
Just joining our Facebook group.
Yeah. So today, what we're going to talk about is. Actually, here we get some more comments. Monica, Petra is the Tuesday double feature video for sure. Trailer for the boys. I love it. It is awesome. The trailer for the boys. Trailer Tuesday.
We're gonna have to do a movie like Will Smith and Bad Boys.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. So today, I just figured I would, not that you were there in the Atlas room today, but I would just extend the conversation that we had. We had an amazing love conversation. I don't know if that sounds right, but that's what it was. It was just really about, helping each other out, getting through some of the mental blocks that we have with money and charging and all this other stuff. And we were there for at least 2 hours, maybe a little bit more with the crew and just supporting each other. So kind of what we do here every Tuesday night to support the world and heart-centered entrepreneurs. And I figured that, hey, you know what? If this was a 2-hour conversation with a small group, it probably is a big, a big subject for other people that may be having some blocks or challenges or just thinking about themselves and if they can charge more, if they're worth more, or whatever that looks like. So that's the topic that we'll start out with and see where we end up today. So what do you think, Scott, about that? And I know we've had even this discussion between you and me and with my own thing, let's increase the prices here. And
When we first met, I started beating you up when we first met. That was a conversation we had.
Yeah.
When I used to do seminars, workshops, keynote speeches, and I'd spend 1 or 2 days with groups of people, one of the exercises I always did, we were talking about the wedding, event, catering, marketing industry. And one of the things I would do is I would go around the room and say, what's the biggest event that you want to do? And almost no one could clearly articulate with confidence a high-priced event. They would say 100. 100 what? 100,000. 100,000 what? People, dollars, tell me. I found over the years that one of the biggest stumbling blocks I see with people is their inability to be comfortable with talking large numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fortunate my dad was kind of a grandiose egomaniac. And
Okay.
I learned early on that he would put together these humongous deals. And so from when I was young, talking about money wasn't an issue. When I got into the speaking industry and I saw what everyone else was charging, I was like, well, I'm going to charge a little bit more. Why? Because I could. And once you get a reputation for helping people, then when somebody needs your help and they come and find you, it is you that usually messes up the money part. It's not the client.
Yeah.
The client needs what you have. And if you can solve their problem and if you understand the whole process, they'll find the money if they have it. Obviously, if they don't, then I got a call the other day from a fellow, very successful, was an Infusionsoft guy, was DM Lab certified, agency, making a lot of money. And he was just put together with a celebrity who potentially has an 8 or 9 figure brand that he was asked to help. And he wanted some advice on what he should do and how he should structure and how we should charge. And this is a guy that's used to charging decent money. And he was like, I said, well, how much are you going to ask for up front? He goes, somewhere between $10,000 and $27,000. I says, okay, stop. First of all, you got to start at $25,000. For I know what the project was and what it entailed and the money potential. And it was, $10,000 to $27,000. It may sound like a lot, but it wasn't. And it was the inability to be comfortable enough with talking in large numbers. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges I see in people is that inability to say, yeah, I charge $500 an hour, or I charge $1,000 an hour, or my project started $25,000, without being like, how could I possibly say that or justify that?
Right. And what does it stem from?
Money issues, self-worth, value,
Right.
value of self.
Yeah.
It all stems from self-worth, worthiness. I'm not worthy of that. You look at a Tony Robbins, for example. You go hire a Tony Robbins or anybody in that level, you're going to pay a couple of $1 million to talk to him.
Now, but yeah, like not at the beginning.
Well, at the beginning, he was eating crackers and ketchup and living in a dump and was listening to self-help tapes over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
He would go to the guy and the guy would loan him the tapes because he didn't have enough money. And then one day he went on a radio show, which is perfect, and he helped somebody on the radio show for free. And he wasn't getting paid any money back then. Now, after years of going from here to here to here to here to here, he's able to say, yeah, you want my help? It's a couple of $1 million.
You're right. And from my knowledge and looking at it from who I work with and even myself, it has a lot to do with self-worth or whatever, but it also has to do with rejection too. We're afraid of being rejected by the person. And one of the things that I remember to help myself get out of that. Again, from amazing people who are 1,000 times smarter than me, telling me that it's not about us. It's not that they're rejecting you personally. It's not the right time for them. They might be rejecting the offer. They might, and your offer might not be right or whatever it is, but it's not you personally. And as soon as we remove ourselves from the equation, it gets a little bit better. And for me, it was always about, okay, what is the value, not of my value? It was about, do I have enough value that they're willing to trade their hard-earned money for? And that led me down the path of, okay, well, then this is no longer just about selling this product. It's not about the product anymore, because then I could just do what everybody else does. I'll just add in more bonuses. I'll just add all, like, and try and make the product thing. So then it was a switch for me to go, wait, why don't I just focus on who are the perfect people, the dream clients that I could serve in the most powerful way that doesn't drain me and all that other stuff, and figure out what is the absolute best value that I can give them that is a huge trade-off for them. So if they give me, if I gave them $100,000 check, would you pay me $10,000 for that check? If that check was going to not bounce and all that stuff, no brainers, right? Like, what would you do for this? And that's what we're really doing, is we're trading the value of what we give them, that we're building value for them to trade their money for. And so this is what we talked about today on Atlas, is it's not about the product. It's not about the physical thing. It's about the value that you can bring, and you are valuable, right? So any thoughts on that?
Yes. I believe, and I learned this a long time ago, is separating our egos and our emotions and ourselves from ourselves, the product.
Right.
Years ago, I learned, when I was doing seminars, workshops, speaking, that I used to hate looking at the evaluations because I didn't want to read something negative somebody said about me. Until one day, I realized that I valued those more than anything, because what they were doing, it's kind of like an objection. They were giving me valuable feedback about the product, Scott Vogel, not the human being. Nobody was saying you're not a good person, you're not worth, they were saying the product that you delivered, called Scott Vogel, needed some tweaking, some this. And from then on, I would love reading the evaluations, because it would tell me, what did I need to do to improve the product, called me?
That's right.
Nobody was saying, well, Scott, you're really not a good person and you should go get some help.
Right.
They were saying, I didn't get enough out of this. I would have liked to have seen more of this. And I'm like, well, great. Next time I need to do more of this and more of this and more of this. And so it became a tool for me. And that's why I've never had an issue. You know that when I first got Kajabi and started playing in this arena, the first time somebody said, look at which goes to the topic we're talking about, is helping those who can't afford it, was I would look at somebody's copy or their funnel and say, let's get on a call. You've heard me talk about this many times, and let me help you, only for the sense of helping. Then when somebody would contact me and say, I need some help with X. Okay, it's going to be $5,000. Oh my God, I've never paid that much before. Okay, fine. Thank you. And then they end up coming back and saying, okay, I've gotten over it. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Okay, I've gotten over it. They weren't getting over me. They were getting over their own issues about investing money. Like, somebody goes into Atlas. They're like, well, I could this, or somebody wants copy written. They call you up and you talk to them and they're like, well, it's going to cost you $1,000, $1,500 just for me to do something small. And they go, well, I can get an ESL. I can get a VA to do it for 25 bucks an hour.
Yeah, there's people on Indeed or people here. Okay, that's totally cool. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because there's two things I want to pick up on what you said. One is, before I forget, that even one or two people in Atlas today said this about paying the higher price for the group. They explicitly said, if we would have paid 197 bucks to be here, we wouldn't be on this call right now for 2 hours with you and coming back every week. And because we have long conversations, we have deep conversations, right? And I mentioned to you just before we went live that it is really about the community. They are there because it's a family. Like, we're learning stuff, we're doing things, but they're there for the community. And that's a value piece, right? And that brings me to the next point that I want to pick up on what you said, which is, I wasn't on the big speaking circuit. I did enough speaking, but I did masterminds. And in the mastermind, I had an evaluation, and that was even harder, because this is like, there's only 10 or 15 people in the room, and I know everybody's writing, right? So even if they didn't want to put their name down or whatever, but it was like that. Like, what could I do better? What did you like the best? What did you not like the best? What could I improve on? And it's like you said, that I lived for what could I improve on, only for a couple of reasons, but in the context of what we're talking about here, that let's say that the mastermind, and I remember that because the masterminds used to be, if I can remember, they might have been like 97 bucks for like a 10-hour mastermind, right? It's like, holy crap, because of this whole thing, and ended up to be like $1,000 day from, just increasing based on the things that I can improve on, which wasn't very much throughout the things. It was like, okay, maybe do this or maybe do that, or make it this long or whatever. That's where that feedback helps us build in the value that we're talking about at the beginning, saying, okay, well, if I want to charge $1,000 or $25,000, what is the value that I could bring to them? What more value can I give to them for that $25,000, right? Because it's not just trading time for money. It's the value that they're buying. It's the experience. And so those things really helped me build the value up.
Let's look at vehicles, automobiles. Let's look at homes. You could buy a house, a duplex for 50 grand. You could buy an $80 million mansion in Manhattan, or a $100 million home. You could buy a Ford Escort. You could buy whatever. You could buy a Tesla. You could buy a Rolls. You could buy a Bugatti. You buy a Ferrari, whatever it is. You want the same thing. You look at, what am I going to pay for this? What's the value I'm getting at it based on, why do I want? I was talking to a buddy of mine in England, and he went to a car show at the drummer from Pink Floyd. I forgot his name.
No idea.
He's got a Ferrari that's $70 million. Now, the Beamer for 50 grand does the same thing. It gets you the same place. It may not get you there at 280 miles an hour at this and that and that and that, with all this and that. And it's the same thing when we look at our value, our worth. Yes, they can go get somebody's course that's 20 bucks, 50 bucks. They can go to Udemy and get a course on sale for 15 bucks to teach them how to write copy. Whatever it is, you can go anywhere. What is it that they're buying is your experience, your value, your expertise. Thank you, Angel. It is Nick Mason. So in determining what your worth is, that starts with, what am I worth internally? And this fellow thought he was worth 10 to 27. I said, you're worth 25 grand off the bat. And then it was, well, this and the draw against us. I said, no. What you're going to have to put in up front is valuable, more than 25 grand. You and I write copy. We don't do it for $100.
Right.
You can go and hire somebody. I had a client once, and I subscribed to his emails, and I think I mentioned this on a call. I looked at one of his emails one day and said, who's writing your emails? He goes, blah, blah, blah. And he had accidentally sent me what he paid the guy. And I said, you get what you pay for. He goes, how'd you know? I said, you sent me a copy of what you paid. And he paid like some ridiculous number, was, I don't know, $50 an email or $75 an email. And obviously I write emails that are a lot more than that, as do you. And then you look at the open rates, and then you look at the conversions, and you look at everything, and sure, you can get something for that little. So anybody on the call or watching the replay, give some thought to what is the value of you, the product. And Angel, perfect. People sense what you feel you're worth, and that is what you'll be the most successful at charging.
Yeah.
And if you feel you're worth $50 an hour and you try and charge $500 an hour, people are going to be like, that just doesn't feel right. But if you're like, yeah, it's $500 an hour and it's this much to get started. And today I was on a call and I said, normally our project started 25 to 50 grand, just to see what the response was before I went really deep into potentially engaging with this client. And there was no pushback. There wasn't like, holy crap, that's not anything we can afford. So
yeah, and I want to talk, what about one of the things that comes up is this, that we are givers, right? We talked about givers and grabbers before. Maybe we can get into a deeper discussion with that in another call. But the givers, we want to give to everybody, however we do that. And so one of the topics came up today was, how do we do that? Aside from what you just said, inviting somebody on and helping them for free like that. Aside from that, we can't do that all day long. That's impossible. So how can we do that? And one of the ways we do this is that by increasing your prices to work with dream clients, your business grows, right? Like, you can do one of two things. You could totally be the giver and the philanthropy. I can't say that word, philanthropy or whatever.
Philanthropist, you're close.
Yeah, that thing. Okay, you can be that person, but your business will eventually die. Like, you can't survive, and you're doing good in the world, but you can only do good for a couple of years, and then you're done. Whereas if you have dream clients and you're charging higher prices and your business is flourishing, that funds the mission of the philanthropy.
You got it. You're good.
I'm getting there. You guys know what I'm talking about,
yeah.
Right? And you can go do other things. And we've talked about this before, maybe a free seminar or spending a couple of hours in groups and helping, or whatever, having a webinar and inviting people in for free and doing the thing, or doing Facebook Live calls every Tuesday night, and that kind of stuff where you're giving to the world, right? And that's where you are able to help many, many more people, whether they can afford it or not, or they're not ready, whatever it is. That is a huge point that I want to really put in front of anybody listening to this, because that's one of the biggest things, because I know where givers are. I know their mindset. And it's like, if I do this, then I've been in this other situation where I couldn't afford something, and I don't want to, I don't want to leave those people to the side, kick them to the curb. So this is the way that we can do it. Any insight on that?
Yeah, well, tithing.
What?
Tithing.
Tithing? Okay.
Tithing. Tithing is the act of giving a percentage of your income or revenue towards whatever, whether it's God, church, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, whatever it is, or what is it that you give to? It doesn't always have to be money. There could be a percentage of your time.
Yeah.
That you decide, like you and I decide that Tuesday nights, no matter what, we're going to give a minimum of an hour to share with the world, whoever is interested in marketing, what you and I have learned, practiced, tested, tried over combined, whatever, 70 years, whatever it is. And so we can't help the world. We can't truly achieve our purpose without money. It just,
that's right.
The ability to be a Martin Luther King, a Mother Teresa, the road is there. but it's very difficult in this
It
day
is.
and age.
And that was a big one for me to get over. Like I needed to realize that and learn the balance, which is what Angel's saying, both directions apply. But I wanted to talk here about what Monica's saying is when I charged less than I wanted for my clothes, people complained about the prices. And I realized I was resentful about undercharging and people reacted to the energy. Good. When I raised the price closer to what I wanted, I felt good about it. The same people commented that I lowered my price. Oh, that I lowered my prices and were happy to buy. Oh, the same people that commented on her lower prices were happy to buy. I guess I think that's what you meant, right, Monica?
It sounds like the last sentence was a little, but I think that's what she's saying. When she raised the prices closer to what she wanted, and felt that the same people comment that whatever. So
Yeah, we're happy to buy.
yeah,
Which is right. I mean, that's the entire thing. This is not about what, we're not saying here that you raise your prices and we're here to gouge people and how to make more money and fill your bank account and you can go buy your Lamborghinis and all this. We're not saying any of that. We're saying that this is all about value, and it has a lot to do with the mental capacity that you bring to the energy we're talking about. You bring this up, Monica, as well. And even on today's call, that came up too, where, moving from one company or one business to another business. And I just flat out, why did you leave that business? And it was basically because I was paying everybody else and I wasn't getting paid. And my energy started to drop and I was starting to resent things. And that's huge. That's a huge thing, right? Is where if you can't afford the business, if you can't afford to run the business, you eventually burn out, no matter what kind of a person you are. And then it turns into like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore, right? And that's not cool. So there's that place where, for me, it's always about, I want to just roll out of bed every day and speak with amazing humans. And I'm blessed to be doing that now. And the business is going really, really well. So I'm so grateful for that. And it's able for me to help more people. And only because that premium prices are there for the dream clients. And that I think that everybody listening to this has that gift, that if you tap into that gift, you can charge premium prices for dream clients. If anybody has a comment or question or anything like that, please let us know, because this is just not a conversation between Scott and I. We like to include you in the conversation and love to help you and answer any of your questions, or maybe we can learn from you too if you've got something about this.
I use the analogy of homes and automobiles. Those are tangible products, obviously. When you look at the value of self, one of the tenets that I share with people when I engage with them is, when you and I engage together, there's bandwidth involved. Now, when I'm in yoga, when I'm coming out of yoga, when I'm doing something, your company, your project is foremost in my mind. I have a former client. I rarely think about him these days because I'm not engaged with them. When I'm actively engaged, they take up my bandwidth, and I only have a certain amount of bandwidth.
Right.
You know the multitudes of things that I engage with on a daily basis. So I only take on a couple. I'm entertaining 2 or 3 right now. And when I take them on, it's like, look, I'm going to be spending my waking hours doing, but you're involved in that. So if you and I are having a discussion, if I'm writing copy, if I'm looking at a swipe file, if I'm looking at the super thesaurus, something's going to jump in my head because it's percolating. It's in there. If not, then it's not. And for somebody to take your bandwidth and your mind, there's value to that. It's not a small dollar amount.
Right. Monica saying that people actually thought that she had lowered her prices when she raised them. That's pretty cool, Monica. Way to go. Angel says it's so important for some people to think about the return on investment they are bringing people to, not their worth. If I charge 10,000 but help you build a business that earns you 50,000, that changes how I might perceive my worth. My worth. Yes, that's definitely true. That's what we mean about, can you, if somebody looks at your value and said, I'm going to give you 5,000 and I'm going to get 50,000 out of this, it's a no-brainer. Like, and that's what we're trying to describe in terms of the value that you put out into the world. And it's not always just about give me 5,000, I'll get you 50,000. Like, those are big promise things. And if you can do it, that's great. And I'm not saying that that's what you're doing or not doing, just as an example, but it is about the perception of the value. So when they say like this is a $2,000 course or whatever, they already know that this is going to bring back multiple $2,000 in the future for them. That's what we're trying to put out into the world by demonstrating what we do and how we do it and all of those things. And it just is a natural thing. It's like I said, if I sold you a slot machine, right, for $10,000 and said, look, every time you put in $1, you're going to get $2 back. Every time. Would you buy the slot machine? Right? So it was like, okay, I will buy the slot machine. It might take you, a little while to get your 10,000 back, but every single time you put in $1, you're going to get $2 back. Why would you not? And then the next question would be, okay, it's a $10,000 machine. Where are you going to get $10,000? And then people would say, well, I'll go find it, or I'll mortgage my house, or I'll get a new credit card, right? Those people, the right people, will find the money to deal with you because you're giving them the value back. And that's the whole thing, is like, we have to figure, like, that's why the dream client is so important, Scott. I don't know what you think about this, but to me, it's about the one person, and you know that your superpowers can help this one person, and it just makes life so much easier than trying to bounce between clients and figuring out what is the value that I can give you. What's the value I can give you? For me, it's just about, this is the group of someones that I can help. And I'm going to constantly talk about these things that those group of someones say, hey, that's me. And I don't have to do any selling. They just come into my world and like, I got you. I want to work with you because of this.
So where do you think
are important?
Where do you think the big money block comes from?
For me?
Yeah, well, no, I said not for you. Where do you think the big money block in charging higher prices comes from?
Or both what you said. It is about self-worth, and it's about rejection. I think those are the two main things. People don't want to be rejected. They're because most people that I speak to are like me. They don't like selling in the first place, and then getting to that spot where you say, well, it's $1,000, and then they're like, and then they hold back. Like you can feel that, right? Oh, yeah. And then so they're afraid of being rejected, and it's about them being rejected. Like you said, it's the ego. Oh my God, this person doesn't like me. See, I knew I wasn't worth that. I shouldn't have done that. I lost the sale. I should have charged 500. If I would have charged 500, then I would have got it, right? And they start beating themselves up.
Right, and
so it's about that.
If they would have charged 500, then they would have been miserable because they would have said, "Well, I should have charged 1,000."
Yeah, yeah. My clients get wrapped up in themselves and their worthiness story. It's true. Instead of the value of the return on invest, their process begins. And what else? Also, people don't play the numbers game. They don't initiate enough conversations to build their tribe. The building the tribe is absolutely number one in my book. As you guys know, I talk about this all the time. And it's such a different shift from where I used to look at selling and everything else to now as serving. So I've switched the whole mindset from how do I sell to how do I serve? And every day's like that. How do I serve? How do I serve? Because I know that serve, the end result is a sale. But it's not about that. It's not about how do I serve to get the sale, right? We got to be careful on that one too, because if that's the mindset, then really you're not in the right mindset. You're still in the sale mindset, right? If it's like, well, I'll go do this serve thing because I'll get a sale. Well,
Right.
they're still in a sale mindset, right?
Well, Joey, on that is, you've heard me say this, and many have. If I got out of my software company right now and I needed to make money again, I would do what I did all over again. I would take my superpowers. I would go into a group that I'm part of, and I would look and say, I can help you. Let me just go help you, with not looking for a sale, because you know what I did. It was like, no, you can't look at my website. No, you can't look at my courses. No, you can't hire me. That energy out there is what brought clients.
That's right.
Now somebody like will ask a question and they'll say, well, you should go talk to Scott if he'll take you on, if you can afford him. That's not me telling anyone to do anything. People put that out there. Somebody put something out there. I'm like, you need to go talk to Joey about Right Marketing Copy or Atlas. Because of what we did, not with the intent of making a sale, but because our intent was heart-centered and serving.
That's
now,
right.
Granted, at the end of the day, we don't do all of that and ever not expect nothing in return. How's that for a triple negative?
Exactly. I love it.
We're helping people because we love to help people. We're heart-centered people. We want to help people because we can. We have that skill. If we kept it to ourselves, it would be of no value.
Okay, so let me pause you for 1 second there because I want to bring up a huge point about this. You're right. So let's look at the client thingy for a second, and I'll reference the Atlas because it is important to understand what you're saying for everybody here listening to this. So if you are doing commoditized work or whatever that is, and you're trying to stuff your calendar with as many clients as possible at the commodity level or whatever, you are not only taking up a lot of your bandwidth, like you said, because you're switching back and forth between them. However, if you charge a little bit higher and the groups are smaller or whatever that is, then like today, I would not have been able to stay on extra time with my tribe. Okay. Because I would have been, wait a second, it's top of the hour here. And I got to get out of here because I got another client waiting. You know what I mean? And those people might feel gypped. Like, I'm paying $1,000 or I'm paying $500 for that. And like, this dude just cuts the thing off. Like, there are all kinds of groups and coaching things that do all that. And for me personally, I don't want that feeling. And that to me is huge. So, and that's another piece of value. Whereas you have the flexibility to be awesome, to be more awesome. And that could just be, like you said, it's not always about money. It could be just more time. Hey guys, I want to spend another half hour, an hour with you guys. Would that be cool? Right? Because you're not pressured. You're not pressured into, I have to make money because I'm not charging enough. So I need to stuff my calendar with clients.
There are more than enough people out there who have more than enough money to buy what you're offering, your product, your service, your message, your coaching. You talk about serving. I haven't done a lot of that type of serving that I used to do in a while because I limited it, because I have commitments and responsibilities to my developer partner in one company. And so the goal is to get this software out there to serve more people. Now, there was a fellow who's a guru, so to speak. I told you about this. I won't mention names because it's not important, who was having a challenge. Now, somebody on my team I knew could help solve this challenge. I asked him if he was still having the problem. He said he was. I asked if my team member was available. She said she was. I put together a call. It was a 30-minute call. I was not looking for anything out of it. This is the second time I've helped this guru. And at the end of it, he'll usually say, so what are you doing these days? I'm like, well, I'm launching 4 pieces of software that do this, 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 and this. He goes, that's right up my alley. And I'm like, cool. Okay. So I hope we were able to help you out today. And you get going with your day. I got stuff to do. Again, it was designed to help somebody I knew I could help because I had the resources to help them. And so that was about, and you know, I was not looking for anything again there other than to help this guy because I like him.
Right. Right.
And so he could afford it, which we were talking about helping those who can't afford it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there's still people that can't afford to do. That doesn't mean I won't take 10 or 15 minutes and say, tweak this, change this, do that.
That's right. That's exactly the point, because the revenue into your business opens up that freedom for you to do those other things. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so against the whole grind mentality. You know, I hate that word as much as I can't even describe how much I hate that word. And people think that that's the way to do it. Like you got to grind and grind, grind, grind. And then, okay, so I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole because I'm going to get real upset about it. But it's more like it opens up freedom to do all of these other things that we can do to help other people that may not be able to move into that level that we're that people are investing into their future with us. And this brings up a point, which is I can't even pronounce that name. Can you pronounce that name?
I'm going to go with Wodim Tiaf, and
Okay.
I probably destroyed it. So I would love to know the proper pronunciation.
Yeah. So she's invested or experienced investment trauma from investing too high in coaching programs too. And you are totally right. And this is another subject that we could go down another huge rabbit hole too, where what we're talking about here is not just inflating your price because of ego or whatever it is. It's all about service and truly serving the right clients, the right dream clients. And so that's all that I live for. And that's all I'm teaching everybody in Atlas. And it's like, great, you can do all of this stuff and you can follow the other plans and everything else. But if you follow what I'm doing and suggesting, your life will be so much easier, not only because there's no sales involved and all this, but you get amazing people and you're not out there feeling guilty about just selling a product and saying, well, it's 10 grand, take it or leave it. And no,
Right.
This is about showing up and serving. That's what it's about. It's not about the sale. It's not about the product. It's not about anything. It's about the dream client. And one of the things I always say too, which I learned from Jay Abraham many, many years ago was, and I even said this today to the group, I said, my plan is for me to be your counsel and your advisor for life. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but that's the plan. And what I mean by being the advisor and your fiduciary and all that for life, it doesn't mean I'm selling you every single week on a new program because you're with me for life. No, I am your guide and your counsel and your support, your confidant for life until you decide this relationship is cool. It was been great. Thank you very much. Right. And that's the way I go into every relationship now is how can I build this relationship so that I can have this person for life that makes everybody's life easier and especially mine, because I don't have to bring in more leads. I don't have to fill the funnel. You know what I'm saying? If I have 100 people that are with me for the rest of my life, imagine that. And eventually, maybe 5 years from now, like let's say you buy my 2 main programs right now, and they're like, okay, great. You've given me a couple $1,000. That's great. It's not about, well, what else can I upsell them? No, it's about helping. And then maybe 5 years from now, because of the relationship, because of the constant communication and support and guidance and all this other stuff, that they might say something in the future that I might go, wait a second, I'm really good at solving that problem that you have. Why don't we try this? What would you be interested in this thing that if I created this, would you like that? Right? Like it just opens up another door. It's not about that having those. Anyway, that's just a whole other tangent that I wanted
Well,
to.
it is, Joey, and it goes towards a couple of things. First of all, I've got an attorney, I've got a CFO, and I'm paying them to help do things all the time. And every time I need their services to do the things that I don't know how to do, nor do I want to do, nor am I qualified to do, I pay them for it.
Right.
And they've been with me a long time, and I intend them to be with me for a long time. Why? Because they provide value. They protect me on one end, and they help me to, make money, save money, and do things the right way. So when we look at those relationships, and plus, what happens when somebody helps you and you pay them X and you get a return? You join a country club, you pay dues. Why? Because you want to be a part of that club, and you keep paying the dues. And if there's a special event, you pay a little bit more money for the special event. And if there's a higher level in the club, you go to a VIP level. You get American Express green card, gold card, platinum card, black card, depending on where you are. So it's like you buy a course from somebody for $7. And you're like, this is good stuff. Well, let me buy the $100 thing. Then let me buy the $1,000 thing. Then let me go to the live event and invest $5,000. Why? Because I'm getting value. I'm not saying that I got a return on my investment measurable by X times number. I'm getting a value from it. One of the things I once heard in, I think it was Perry Belcher's 21-step secret selling system was, people go to live events. Why? To hang out. They don't necessarily go to learn more stuff. It's like, why would I go to an event with you, Joey? Because I want to hang out with Joey. Because Joey's a cool dude.
It's the tribe. It's the people. It's so true. It is all about the tribe. That's why people go to those events, because they're connecting with people who are like them, and they can. It's people like us. It goes right back to Seth Godin. People like us do things like this, right? And we want to hang out with people like that.
Cedric has a great question.
Cedric?
Yeah, Cedric Zongo.
I don't. Oh, it must be a Facebook user. Let me go back to these first, and then we'll come back to that. So, Angel, grateful. I don't break my back with one-on-one work anymore. That's amazing. Yes.
Good for you, Angel. I'm proud of you.
We should all be present and enjoy our lives. Couldn't agree with that more. It is so true. That's one of the things that I took away from working with Brendan a while back when we first did that thingy. And it was a struggle for me because of not only am I ADD, but it was, I'll never forget that. And it was a pivotal moment because even Tony Robbins says that, where like when you make a change, it's like in an instant, right? It may take you years to get to that point, but when you make a change, it's that instant. Yep. And that was a pivotal change for me when it was Brendan was like, you got to be present with people. And I went back and I had a mastermind that next weekend. And that was the main thing that I said to them. I said, look, we're here in this room for 10 hours and we're talking about values. We'll be talking about a lot of stuff today. And my values are my family and my freedom and myself and all this other stuff. But for these 10 hours, you are the focus. I'm not going to be thinking about, not that I'm not thinking about my family and everything, but I'm not going to be distracted. I am present here with you. And that was a big pivotal moment. And I even remember going to events, when you're at an event and you're kind of out in the breakout or whatever, and you're talking to a couple of people, and I walk up to you and you're talking to 2 or 3 people and I go, hey, Scott, how's it going? Right. And interrupt you. And, most of us would turn around and go, hey man, how's it going? And I remember Brendan talking about that. And it was being disrespectful to the people that you were, and the person like me, I'm the goofball, not you. So I remembered being like that and going to the next event and speaking to some people, and people would come up and tap me and I would totally ignore them because I wanted to be present with those 3 people. And I knew, and afterwards I would go up to you and say, hey Scott, listen, sorry that I didn't say anything to you, but here's the reason why. Right. But because most people don't know that. So that was another tangent on being present, but I don't know if that gave any value. Why else are we doing all this? I do know who this is. I just didn't want to disrespect you because your name changed. This is Meadow Faith.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you like, I really don't know how to pronounce that new,
Joey,
awesome name.
Joey, she spelled it backwards.
Oh my God. How did I not see that?
Well,
That is so cool.
yeah.
Wow. I feel like such a goofball. That is so cool. That is so cool.
Why? We've had people from all over the world that come on this call, and we have people with unique names that we don't always get right. So
That is so cool. I should have seen that. That's amazing. You're not alone, and most programs leave you to not implement to something of completion. It's so true. Meadow is in our group. So is this who you're talking about?
yeah, that is from Cedric Zongo.
Okay. What do you have to say about when you serve and finally people start thinking that things should be free? They start asking for free coaching. What's not working in that case? This is a big one, right, Scott?
Yeah.
How do you want to approach this?
Well, I think the first thing is when I get on a call and I'm going to help somebody for free, I let them know right up front, look, I charge a lot of money. I saw that you have an issue and I'm going to help you with it. I'm going to, spend 15, 20, 30 minutes and help you fix your problem because I want you to go out and use what I teach you to go provide value, to go help you overcome the challenge you're having and potentially make some money. And when we're done, that's it. I'll sometimes go back and help people and I'll play with their copy a little bit. And over time, if they keep coming back and wanting more, I'm going to say, I've helped you. And we need to look at the relationship now.
This comes back to the club marketing framework, right? And
Yep.
we've talked about this a couple of many episodes ago, I think now, and it relates to the level of coaching that you're doing or service that you're doing. Now, if you have, like Scott said, if you come onto a call and you do a call or something with somebody and you do whatever, half an hour, I don't care, and then they want that constantly, then it's all about that relationship and saying what Scott is saying to talk about that relationship. Now, what I do to give you more of a concrete example is this, that I have a lot of chats. Okay. Somebody will reach out and we'll talk in a chat. And when I do a chat with somebody, it is to help them. It's not, I don't have a script. I'm not planning to sell them something in the thing. And that relationship will sometimes, not every single time, but sometimes that relationship will go on and that will go into more coaching, or like you're talking about, Cedric. Is that the right name, Scott?
Cedric, yes.
Cedric. So at that point, then what I'll do is invite that person to my Facebook group. I'll say, which is absolutely true. And I'll say to them, look, these are awesome questions that can help the tribe, that can help my friends in my group. And I'd love for you to come in there. And that's where we can help you. And that's what I do. So that's how I move people from that area, because again, if they're expecting that free all the time, that's not a great relationship they're probably doing that to a lot of other people too, right? And so this is about when you serve, it's the club marketing framework talks a lot about how you serve in the world and then how to bring them into your world as a paying client as well. There's a reason you serve, and the reason you serve is not only to help people, but it's to pique the interest of dream clients, because it's a very powerful quote unquote strategy for you to do that, for you to show the world. And those are probably the people who are not your dream clients, who you're actually helping, what you do, like what you're great at. And so that's one of the reasons why serving in the world is so powerful. But if you have the wrong mindset, and what I mean by you, not you personally, Cedric, but just generally, is if you have the mindset of like, I'm going to go do this for today and I need to get money by the end of the day, this is not going to work for you.
Well, Joey, what Cedric is saying also is about the ability to be honest in any relationship, whether it's a short term, whether it's a long term. And at some point would be, so I've been on a couple of calls with you. Have you implemented what I've said? And are you getting results from it? Are you starting to get some clients? Are you starting to make some money? If that's the case, then we need to look at a relationship as we continue on down the road. And then it's, do you do everything for free? You can't possibly do everything for free. And it goes back to your last two words of your comment, which was dream clients.
Yeah. It's also about looking at when you're setting up your quote unquote marketing or what you're doing in the world is what am I, and this is kind of all related to what we're talking about here. It's all meta, where what we're doing here, Cedric, is part of, it's free coaching, really, every single Tuesday. We don't hold back. It's not like somebody can ask a question, we'll say, well, sorry, you're gonna have to get on a call and pay for that one. Like, we don't do that. We've never done that. We may say, hey, we got right marketing or fast video creator, it does help this, and we might throw in a couple of promotion thingies, but it's not like go buy that to do this thingy, right? It's not about that. So for you, Cedric, is, and I talk about this again in Atlas. There's a plug for Atlas, which is all about how do you set up your dream business and your dream days in order for you to attract dream clients. And it starts with the dream business. It starts with you saying, these are the things that I can do on a consistent basis that I'm willing to do, including paying clients and including the superpower stuff where you're out in the world and doing things for free on a consistent basis. So for instance, if you had a Tuesday night call or a Facebook Live call or something like that, or a Facebook group where you're in every day helping people, that's where you transition people to. So it's not like you're leaving them hanging. You're building the tribe at the same time. You're moving people into that, and they can come to your Tuesday live, or you can have a free webinar if you want to every Friday, whatever it is, and people can come to that for years and get free stuff from you, but you're leveraging your time too, right? And it's also a powerful marketing tool. You know, I live for these things not only because I can help so many people, but let's face it, it's also a marketing tool. Like, people see our personality, our characters, and they like it or they don't like it. They show up and they say, I like the way these guys operate, or that guy operates, or whatever, you know, and they may reach out and want to talk to us. But it starts with, how do I just show up and serve every single week, right, Scott?
Yeah, time suspends disbelief. So somebody is like, who is this dude, Joey? Who is this guy, Scott? Well, they check out this and go, I kind of like what they're saying. I like what he's saying. I like what Joey's saying. I like what Scott's saying. I think I should get into the Strategic Marketing Club. Why? Because in there, and I go in there, and then there's all these cool people, and there's a support, and there's help. And so for Cedric to get a place where these freebie seekers can come in and rely on others. Yes, we come here. There are nights we'll rewrite people's copy. We'll look at pages. We'll tweak pages. We'll make suggestions. We'll say you should do this, 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 and this. We'll look at funnels. We'll do whatever it is. We'll answer any question to provide that value. But again, it's Tuesday nights from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock that we've chosen to do that. Meadow, you should check out Joey's free Facebook group, Strategic Marketing Club. He totally gives every day, answers questions, and the people in the club are awesome, helping and supporting each other. It's like the antidote to your investment trauma. Joey, you need to take that line right there.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Monica. She is a part of our group already, Monica, but thank you for saying that. And Susan is at the park. Love you, Susan.
I was about to say hi, Susan, in the park.
And that's great, Scott. And the transition, thank you for the transition is great. It's true that we do that. It's like, it's not like a line where it's like, I don't want to help this person anymore. It is actually true, because the conversations that I have with people in chats or whatever, that looks like, they're awesome questions that my answers can totally help somebody else in the group. And so it's not a waste of time. I don't want to say that, but it's being a disservice to the group if I I'm not answering, or that is not asked in the group where somebody else is feeling that same challenge or whatever it is. And that's why I like to transition them. And it works the other way too, to get somebody into my world.
Another piece, Joey, to what Cedric has asked is, like I said, if I give you some of my time and my superpower, my expertise, my knowledge, and it helps you move the needle a little further, and you do what I say that you should do, and it works, then you should be getting some results. And at a certain point in time, it's going to be, okay, either you're doing what I'm telling you to do and it's getting your results, or you're not doing what I'm doing. So Angel says, Scott, working with you has been one of my greatest pleasures. Angel, that warms my heart. I love you. I've loved everything we've done together. It's been a treat and a joy and a pleasure. And Cedric posted again. Okay, there he is. So I have a group for free where I teach, provide content, but sometimes they want the paid individualized product for free. So he just answered his question.
Yeah, you answered the right question. Yeah.
So it's not your dream client, Cedric. So that's where Joey's, and I'm not pushing his program, but don't you have some new thing coming out about the dream client thingamathingy or something? Or
yeah, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about another little product to help people identify dream clients, because that is a big thing. It's so different from the ideal client or the thing, and it's a big shift. So Cedric, like, can you give us a little bit of insight or expand? Like, who is your client? Like, who do you think they are? Like, what do you do? And maybe we can help you identify a little bit of it.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Joey.
That's what we're here for. I sometimes find that sewing and repairing other people's clothes, because I can, they expect me to do it for free the next time again. Yeah, men still expect it from a woman because it's a hobby. I stop that and say, find yourself a tailor and see what he would charge. Awesome.
I love it. Yeah. It kind of goes full circle, Joey, to charging what you're worth, the value of your worth. You can give for free when you want to give for free. If I'll go back to the tithing example, Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 o'clock. Gosh, how long we've been doing this now, Joey?
My gosh, I don't know. It's 74 episodes.
Right.
I don't remember when we started.
I don't remember, but it was low numbers when we started this.
Yeah.
And the commitment was to show up and help people with our superpowers, to talk about what we love to talk about.
Yeah.
It goes back to, I would always ask people, what would you do if you didn't get paid? What do you love to talk about so much? It goes to when you talk about the pillars, and what will you talk about forever? And someone said, well, what would you do? It says, I talk to people about building their businesses and architecting funnels and writing copy and marketing and doing all that, because I love it, because I'm not good at it.
Right.
So, when we look at what people are doing, is, do you love what you're doing? I go back to the piece of, who was it with the three pieces? You got to be passionate about it. You want to become the best in the world.
You're talking about good to great?
Yeah, from good to great, and there's got to be an economic engine. We love you too, Susan. Enjoy your park.
Definitely. So I help people get out of debt and build wealth. The ideal client has spending habit problem and not an income problem, someone with an entrepreneurial spirit. And they want free coaching from you. What is this here? A guy once told me, if you give it away for free, you have set your value. That's total BS.
That's Nick Coppings. He's in the group. He's on that page.
Oh, yeah. I don't agree with that at all. Why do you think that they give you the best parts of the movie trailer? Like, in the movie trailer, why do they give you the best parts of the movie? You still buy the ticket to go see the movie, and demonstration is the most powerful thing you can do. So hiding what you do, giving away something for free, is demonstrating how you can help somebody. So the mindset is out there that you got to hold it to your chest and all this other stuff. and it's total BS. It's like you don't give everything for free, but you need to prove how different you are, because this world is inundated with people out there who have no experience, no knowledge. They're just doing the whole Abernathy or whatever the hell the dude's name is there, Catch Me If You Can thing. And it's like, well, I'm just going to read over here, read from a book and teach it and make a whole bunch of money. And this whole world is blown up, and this is a whole other axe to grind, as you can tell. But it's not, it's about now. The world is changing, and it's what I talk about every single week to all my clients. And I'm giving them, I'm telling them, and they already know this, that if you are not stepping into your superpowers and looking at dream clients, the business is going to get harder and harder for you every day, because there's people who are going to be able to charge, who are willing to charge less, and you become a commodity, and that's not where you want to be. And you have to demonstrate to somebody your superpowers. That's the difference between selling information and just being a knowledge person to an experiential situation where you are this expert combined with your experience, knowledge, passion, and all that, all those superpowers built into one that nobody can emulate. And you gravitate towards dream clients and say, here's how I can help you. And they're ready and willing to pay you.
Well, Joey, going to go back to Nick's comment. And if his comment was directed towards Cedric, that if you keep giving it away for free, you set your value. Because if Cedric is constantly doing everything for free, then those people are going to expect it for free all the time. If you give something for free the first time, like the traditional lead magnet, here's a little tiny thing for free that's going to give you amazing value. And if you like it, now let's move the relationship to the next thing. It goes back to dating. Let's go have a cup of coffee. Let's go have a drink and see if we even like each other. And then if we do, now let's go have lunch, or let's go out on a date.
But I can argue that same point all the way through. If you go, okay, well, here's $7, here's $39, here's $100, you've set your value as well. And then it's like, oh, wait a second, you want $5,000 from me now, dude? I just paid you $7 over here. So I could argue that point all the way through. That's why I build the ladder backwards. I did that even way back in when I first started coaching and knowing nothing about this world, which thank God I didn't know anything about the world, and just went in and said, okay, I'm charging $1,000 a month for coaching, and built it like right from there and got 15 clients right away, because I just went in and said, that's what it is. I had no idea what a tripwire was and all this other kind of stuff. And it's building the value right up front, saying this is what I'm worth. So,
well, okay, Joey, I'm going to call you on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started Right Marketing Copy.
That has okay, but that has nothing to do with it, because it's not a funnel. It was a beta program, right? Yeah, and yes, maybe I should have charged more for it when we started it, but that's not what we're saying. What you're saying is, well, I'm going to introduce you to $7. Then you're going to get a $50 item, then a $100 item, and then move up the ladder. And I'm saying, no, man, that's setting your value right up front. So you're bringing in all of these different levels of clients where it's like, okay, start with the dream client and just focus on that, because you're going to put so much energy into putting the $7 person as the same as a $15,000 person. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I think we're talking about two different things.
Okay. So what's the challenge?
Well, my software is, the software is expensive in comparison to other stuff out there. There's not a this or that, and that. So you start here, and then you get the stuff you need to make it work even better. So I think you and I might have an interesting conversation one day about funnels, about people starting at a certain place who don't know. You play the long game. Not everybody plays the long game. You're saying right. To play the long game. There's a lot of people out there that are still ascribing to the funnel philosophy. They're still following the DM Labs and the Russell Brunsons, who are, give them a lead magnet, give them a tripwire, give them the next thing, and then send them up to the Slack adjuster where they're giving you that money. That's still a huge thing. What you're teaching, what you're doing is new. It's different to play a little bit of a longer game. And we've talked about that on one of our calls. The longer game is building that tribe, which is what you've done, and providing the value in the tribe, and then offering them the value, that the worth in your programs, and not.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that the funnel thingy doesn't work, and it's all the power to you. If you want to use that, fantastic. I'm just saying that there's way more energy that goes into building all those things than it is on the other side to build a $1,500 product or whatever, or a service or a thing that you can serve, that you can say, I'm going to just go out and do the things we're doing right now, is serve the world, show my superpowers, do all this kind of stuff, because we're still giving energy out. We're still doing all these things. Whereas we could be on this call right now and going, well, guys, at the end of this call, I've got this thing. It's only $7. Go and buy it and write and do all that. And is the business making money? Probably not, because I'm going to get 10 people to buy a thing. I made $70 or whatever.
Right.
And it's the same amount of energy. Right. And you saw it even with Atlas. There was people who moved who didn't know me in my world.
Right.
Had no idea, came right into Atlas and boom, plunked down thousands of dollars. Why? Because it was like, I like this dude and I trust where he's going to take me. And there was no discussion of, can I get this cheaper? Is there this? Is there that? No. And that's the whole point. It wasn't about trying to gouge people. It was, this is what this is worth. And it's even cheaper now. It's cheap now. It's going to even be going higher, right?
So Nick added, in your head, what are you worth to that person? And then I really like his next comment is, the longer game equals authentic versus typical funnel, which is manipulative.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. And a typical funnel is all about, like, it's pressure. That's the word that I use all the time. It's pressure on your timeline. You're forcing your timeline, not you, Nick, but just generally, we are forcing our timeline onto the person. Buy this, and then, hey, here's the upsell. Go buy this,
right.
Or go into this funnel now, into these 4-day cash machine thingies, and go get this because it ends on Friday.
Right.
And all this. So it's our timeline. Hey, you need to go do this, right? Whereas the authenticity in the long game is, go out in the world. I know who my dream client is. I know who I'm speaking to. Eventually, they will reach out to me and have the belief that they will reach out to you. And then there's no sale whatsoever. Like, I don't, Scott, like, I don't sell anymore. I don't make a sale at all. People call me and say, how do I get into Atlas? What is it? Here you go. What do I do next? Like, there's no sales whatsoever. And that to me is worth all of the time and effort, or whatever you want to call it, putting it into serving the world, rather than me building all funnels and $7 and this and that. Because I've tried that too. And for me, it just wasn't worth it anymore. And the business isn't making enough money for me to do that. I don't want to have to serve, sell thousands and thousands of people, or at a $7, I have to sell 1,000 things to make $7,000. And that's like on the high end, which is the revenue, which we aren't even talking about all the time involved, the merchant fees, the blah, 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 the electricity to light this place, right? None of that. So I'm like, that is insane to me. You don't have to agree, and people listening to this don't have to agree. This is just my personal opinion.
Well, and that's why it's your show.
It's not my show. It's our show.
Okay.
And I think that's why they like this, because sometimes there's a, wait a second here. A side note.
We call each other on things.
Yeah. I appreciate if you guys would mention your offers more often. Like to know how to take step with you. It's not for me personally, man, I don't have a lot of offers. Like, I just have pretty much right marketing copy and Atlas and my private coaching. And that's pretty much it. Unless you look at the strategic marketing club group coaching. So there's not really a lot of offers. If you're in my in the Facebook group, you're already exposed to those 3 thingies. So, but I appreciate that. So maybe I will mention them a
Well,
little bit
maybe
more.
you
And
should.
Scott, what do you have? Like, what do you have to?
I know. Sorry, Joey, but when we first started this 70 some odd episodes ago, my goal was to support you and help you and provide information. My consulting and coaching and copywriting and funnel building and architecting is brand building has nothing to do with this. If somebody wants that, they go talk to you. Yeah, I've got 4 pieces of software and all kinds of stuff, but that's not why I'm here. So thank you, Faith. Joey and I met because we are kindred spirits. We're brothers. We write copy. We build funnels, and a funnel. I don't want to use the sales funnel typical here. When I say architecting funnels, it's what does your landing page look like, and what does that go to, and what does that go to, and what is the proper value sequence you put, and what's the follow-up sequence. That to me is a funnel, not the, well, here's the thing and then the 7, and well, you got the 7 thing and now the 39 thing, but the 39 thing really doesn't work real well unless you get the 49 thing to add on to it to make it work. And by the way, there's a thing here, the done for you now thingy, that's only the 179. And by the time you get through the funnel, and that's why we do not use JV Zoo, because I don't want somebody in a 22 upsell, downsell funnel. I want to say, here's the thing, here's what it does, here's how much it costs, go get it. Going back to the WAC formula we talked about is, here's the thing, you got this problem, here's the thing, here's how it's going to help you, here's what it costs, go get it, and if you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. That's it. It's like, Joey, you know that when somebody buys Fast Video Creator, they get into a 30-day email sequence. And in that 30 days, they get more value of free stuff than what they paid for the software. Why? Because at the end of 30 days, I want them to be like, holy crap, that money I invested was so well worth it. 2, not only did they give me value, but I now know how to use this thing that they sold me. One of the biggest problems I see in most things is I just bought this thing, but you don't teach me how to use it, how to consume it. And that's what I talk about when I'm saying a funnel, because I don't even do that anymore.
No, but you're right. Like that's a value funnel, if you want to call it that. It's a value. We talked about this before, where the way that I look at this, if I give a gift, by the way, I call gift a lead magnet for those of you who are brand new. So in my world, it's a gift. And then instead of the next email being, you got my gift, go buy my shit. No, it's like, here's a gift. Let me show you how to use it, which is exactly what you're doing. Let me show you more about the gift. Yours is 30 days. You don't have to do 30 days. It would be better to do 4 or 5, maybe not better, but it would be okay to do 4 to 5, 10 days, whatever, of giving the value. And then you can easily transition into something like, if you really like this, I do have this other thing that kind of amplifies the gift and make it easier for you to use. And it's an offer. It's an invite. It's not a scarcity thing. It's not a deadline funnel thingy. It's not to say that I don't do any of this stuff. It's just a more gentler approach to everything. And realistically, you could call my Atlas thingy or my Right Marketing Copy thing a funnel, because it's like, here's an email that invites you to go to a Google Doc, and the Google Doc goes to a sales page. That's a funnel, right?
Joey, you and I talked a couple of weeks ago about the goofball offer I put out there.
Right.
Where basically we had 8 different things that were all different prices. And I was like, I just made one price, $25 each.
Right.
Get the whole thing for $100 because it's gonna be $700 or $800. And the reason was real. The creator of that product is going on vacation in 2 days.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, oh, we're running out. She's going away in 2 days. And when she goes away, that's it. The offer is gone. I've sent out a total of 2 emails. That's it. And she leaves in 2 days. There's no carts closing, midnight, that, and all the gurus say you get 50% of your sales the first day and 50% of your sale on the last day. Let's go back, Joey, to Cedric's comment, because I think we kind of buried it.
This one here, longer game?
That was Nick, and then Nick said, totally agree.
I don't know. I don't see the names here, so I don't know whose is who.
Right. Cedric is the long one, says, I help people. We asked him what he did. I help people get out of debt and build wealth.
There. Okay.
So I didn't want him to feel left out because we kind of jumped over it.
Okay.
And then we can get back to whatever that last comment was.
Okay. Spent having a problem and not an income problem, someone with an entrepreneurial spirit. So that is cool. So then what is the value? Like, so what are you giving in terms of coaching? Like, how are you helping them? And it is based, the dream client is someone, how do I describe the dream client again? So it is more about this person who, first of all, you make a list of the qualities and characteristics of the person. It is, the exercise works for you first. And this is where the mind, like the shift happens, Cedric, where these are the people that I want to hang out with. Okay. It's kind of like picking your best friend. That's the first step of it. These are people that I could spend the rest of my life with on a desert island. That's the best way to deal with it. And they're not paying you. It's not about paying you yet.
And the flip side of it, Joey, is making sure you make a list of the characteristics of the people you don't want.
That's the anti-avatar, which is, yes.
Right.
So the anti-avatar might be even easier for you to start with first. Like these people, like look at your worst client, Cedric. Like what are the characteristics that just really got under your skin? You can't deal with that. And those are the things that you list out. And if any of those things come up in, in a conversation with somebody, they're not your dream client. So the dream client is like me waving a magic wand and saying, if I gave you the perfect person, who is that? What do they look like? And what are they all about? That also has to do with, yes, they can and are willing to pay you what you are worth. That is there, but it's usually one of the last things on that list. Most people start with it at the first. I want people to be able to afford me. That's a given. So that's why you can put it on the list. It's a given, but the other things are way more important. And the reason I'm telling you that is because when you have dream clients, they are so aligned with you. They're like your best friend, man. Like you go out with your best friend, you guys can finish each other's sentences or whatever. It's just that you think along the same lines, you laugh at inside jokes. It's all this kind of stuff. And it's such a relief and pleasure to work with them. And then when a sale comes up or an offer or a new offer or something comes up, there's no pressure whatsoever. Just like Scott said, it's like, you're doing this dream client thing, whatever. I can easily go back to my clients right now and say, I'm going to do this thing about dream clients, whatever. What do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, great. How much is it? When I'm in. Like they don't even ask how much is it. They're like, yeah, I'm in. Just let me know what it is. Right. And then they'll say, well, by the way, how much is it? Right. And it's such a great transition. Any thoughts on that, Scott? Like how we can help?
Well, I think you did a great job with it. He's got a pretty good idea here of what he does. The ideal client, he does need to go in a lot deeper into more of the psychographics of this person, the emotions of this person. They have, the ideal client has spending habit problem. Well, what is the spending habit problem? And they don't have an income problem. So how much are they making? And how much are they spending? And how can you immediately change that? And what is the program you're offering them?
So that's true. Like, so what you said, Cedric, if people are asking you for free coaching advice, then you're obviously the wrong dream client, because if they don't have an income problem, they wouldn't be asking you for free advice.
Right.
So they're obviously the wrong people in your group right now or whatever. And so the way that and people ask all the time, how do you attract dream clients? Here's the simple answer. You tell people you tell the world what your dream client is. Here's the people I'm looking for. Here's who I can help. If that's you, reach out. And that's not what you say, but that's basically what you're saying. Is like you just put your entire heart on the line. Here's who I can help, and here's who I can't help, and that's it. It's like if you have a cow for sale, say I've got a cow for sale. Like it's not. There's no grand thing about all this stuff.
If you want free milk for as long as you possibly can, and you have a green pasture field that you can house at least one four-legged bovine animal, then you might be interested in investing in this four-legged. It's it on a cow sale. There was another comment, I think.
One thing too, I want to pick up on this too, is that if this person has an entrepreneurial spirit, what is the end result for that person?
Right.
Are they moving from a job to being an entrepreneur? So like, what is that end result for them? Be very clear on what that is. And all you do is you talk about that, about fixing that problem. And you're already defining, it's more about repelling the wrong people. You're defining saying, you know, if you have a spending problem and your income is awesome and you're an entrepreneur and want to build XYZ or whatever, here's how I can help you. Or here's the 5 steps to help you with this, you know, spending problem or whatever. It's those kind of things where you're only talking to that person. And that's the other keyword of a dream client. It's only. The word is only. I only work with these people. And that freaks out a lot of people. Because like, wait a minute, I can work with a lot of people.
Everybody's my target audience. Everybody needs my stuff.
So Faith said, I understand what Scott's saying. I have my free content and masterclass, one-off session, my groups program, and my one-on-one. They build in commitment slowly because in my experience, it's not best to jump into a big commitment with brand new clients. Just my 2 cents. That's cool. If that's the way you do it, it's all good. I'm not saying that my way is the only way. It is not. Like, it's totally cool. It's just a mindset shift. And so for me, it's about the energy that I'm putting out into the world, that I know, where you have to know yourself. Like I keep talking about Atlas and like I'm trying to promote this thing and I'm really not, but it's really, that's what we do all the time. It's not about the selling of the clients and all these other things. There's so many other different components to understand how to build your business the right way. And a lot of it comes down to knowing who you are as a person, as a character in the world, what your strengths are, what totally bums you out, and building the business around that. When you understand that, because you're the core. If the core falls, like, you know, it's like Scott, right? Like, you're in yoga. If your core is screwed, you're done, right? The core is everything. So you are the core of your business. And if you don't have that strength, you can't do all the other things and you burn out very quickly. So the way that I suggest people build it is, who am I? What am I all about? What can I handle? What am I consistently great at? And all this other stuff, and build your business around that. So for me, Meadow, is I just don't want to build small pieces of energy into the smaller chunks. And when people come into my world, they are willing to pay the premium price, only because I'm putting all this stuff out in the world.
You and I have had many conversations, and the last couple of days we've been talking about the different people out there. And if we look at, I'm not going to go through the names, but the gurus and the top people, is you look at them and this one's doing this and it works. And some people can do it and it works for them. Right. And then this person does this and it works for them. And this person does what works for them. And so, Petra, thank you, Petra. Scott, your tutorials are worth more than the additional free scenes. So again, value on how to, give them more and more value.
Dude, how long did you spend creating those tutorials?
Months.
Right.
Months.
Right. Now, why?
Because I wanted the buyer of my software to have an amazing experience. I wanted to give them value long after they made the initial purchase. So there was no, well, I just bought this thing for some money and that's all I get. it was not only did you get this and the bonuses I gave to you, or the gifts, however you want to call it, I wanted to make sure that you could use what I gave you and do what Petra did, to be able to go in and create that cool trailer for the group tonight and be confident in that and teach her some things that I could have charged. I could have taken all that stuff, put
Yep.
it into a course and charged a bunch of money. I
Yep.
know where the money comes from in my software. I know what, I sell the printer, and then I have ink upon ink upon ink that you will buy, because I don't have one color ink. I've got 100 color inks, and I've got 500 more colors of ink coming. That's just, when I was doing the coaching and the masterminds and the consulting, that was different. Now I'm in a different place for a short period of time
Yeah,
until.
and that's a value stack, what you're doing right there, but a free value stack, right? And that's the thing is, and thank you, Matto, for this. And it's about that how I look at the whole closing thing. Whereas, like, you got the sale, you close, and in my mind, it's the opposite. It's like, no, you're opening a relationship,
Yeah.
and the sale, the sale doesn't end there. It actually begins the entire process. The relationship opens, and it's, how do I serve that person more? And this is where that whole funnel thing breaks for me in the normal world, with how can I sell them more stuff?
Yeah.
No, it's like, how can you serve them more with what they've already got?
Yeah.
And put time and energy into that. And then when you do say, I've got this other thing, they're going to look back and say, wow, 30 days. I remember all that stuff that he gave me before, and it was awesome. It's, this other thing is going to be just as awesome. I know it. And you don't have to make a sale anymore. It's just a simple offer. I've got this thing. Would you like that? And that, if you put all that energy into what Scott has done too, that is where your life is going to be so much easier. However you do it, just model it for yourself. Like, anybody listening to this, is model the business around your life. It's not your life around your business. It is about what you can put into the world to serve dream clients on a consistent basis that's not going to burn you out. Right?
Right. I mean, Joey, you know that we sold the future. We didn't even sell a product. We sold the future of a product for, decent money, and those same people that bought in at well over 1,000 lifetime value. Again, not getting into the whole this leveraging of that, they're worth a lot because we're giving them value, we're giving them gifts, we're giving them different ways to. You buy a nice car, and then you want to buy a nice pair of rims, and then you want to put this on. You get a house, you want to put in a pool, you want a spa, you want to remodel the kitchen. You keep investing in what you love doing. And if you give them opportunities to invest in what they love doing, they'll give you more money if they're getting value, if they're getting pleasure, if they're getting results, solutions, benefits, and advantages. And yes,
Yeah.
After all that, an ROI as well. And again, the ROI does not always have to be financial. You know that I'm in that room every day, twice, 3 times a day in the chambers doing yoga. Yeah, I pay for it, but it's not, I don't expect to make money from that. I expect that it improves the quality of my spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional life that allows me to show up like I do with you and be a transparent, loving, caring, heart-centered human being. And that's what we're about here. So,
Right. What's the return on the relationship?
what is the return on the relationship? It's like you and I have talked about. One day I want to do something on the digital relationship, because you and I, we still don't know. We couldn't pinpoint exactly how we met. It came about. There's so many people that you create relationships with here, because if you truly go out and serve and you truly go out and help, then the relationships are huge.
It's a huge opportunity, and we can end with this, that it's a huge opportunity for heart-centered entrepreneurs to understand how important the relationship business is, and that it is not the most popular thing. And that's a huge advantage for us.
Yeah, it is.
It's huge because most people will not do it. And
No.
even though you teach them, or they know it, or they've heard it or something like that, they don't do it because, for whatever reason, I don't want to judge why they're not doing it. And I've proven it over and over again. I'm proving it to my clients now in Atlas, and they're doing the thing just by simple switches, and they're doing that. And it's a huge opportunity. And believe me, in a few years, this will come back around and they'll say, we should have been doing this long time ago.
Yep.
And all you got to do is invest in relationships, and everything else falls into place. But the problem is, which is that 4-letter word that nobody likes. You know what it is, right, Scott? Time.
Yeah. Everybody wants it now. It's like I told you, we started running some Facebook ads for one of our pieces of software. And the first 2 days, it was $10 a day. And I spent $22 with the taxes and that, and got nothing. And most people would be like, well, what's going on? How come there's no? Well, because, it's going to take, I know it's going to take a couple of weeks to, see what an audience is. But we had a client where he knew he could get somebody to click on his ad, and he got 1,000 clicks for $1,000. It was $1 a click to get 0 back. I didn't have to do that much to change that, to get it to where he put 60 in, he got 600 back. And then you just scale it. And it's learning, it's time. Yes, Faith, you did know the answer.
You nailed it. Well, imagine this. Now we can look back at the dots, like Steve Jobs' that most famous speech. You can only connect the dots looking backwards.
Right.
Now, if we analyze, because where I came from and how I built the business and all the stuff that I do, and even the stuff I show free in YouTube. If you go to YouTube, anybody watching this and you've never seen my club marketing framework, go to YouTube, type in club marketing, or just go to my name, and I show you the exact strategy that I use to build my business. But think about that, Scott. Think about if I did not invest the time and went into the normal stuff of doing what everybody else does, is, like, hey, I'm looking for a copywriter, I'm looking for a coach, and right. If I did not do what I did, do you think that I'd be here right now with the business the way it is?
Joey, episode 74.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about this. You show up, and you help, and you provide value, and you have products to sell as well. And we're at the top of the hour again, Joey.
I know, but this is an important thing. I just want to say that because of that time thing, it freaks people out because they can't see the future. They don't see you and I wouldn't be talking. I don't think we would have met, because you would have seen the same thing of me going, let's get on a call. Here we go. Come talk to me. You would have ignored me. That's what I'm trying to say, is that I would have never imagined this. I would have never imagined I never saw it because I didn't know who you were. Right. And the business build, and it was a 6-month time investment, truly, of like seeing absolute zero.
Yep.
And just faith. And which is great. Going back to faith, perfect word for what we're talking about here. But that's what I'm talking about, guys, is like you invest in that relationship, understanding that there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not about how do I make money from doing this. It's about who do I serve? How do I go and serve that, and having faith that the business will build because of that. That's what I want to end with. Anything to say? Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks. You got to have some kind of an ending once in a while. Say, you take us out. Right?
So, for those of you watching the replay tonight, we talk about charging what you're worth while still helping those who can't afford it. Leave your comments, leave your questions. Don't forget to join Strategic Marketing Club, where all the action happens. For those of you that are heart centered entrepreneurs.
Thank you, my man. Thank you for everybody sticking with us for all this time. We love you. Thank you for all the support, all the likes, all the loves, all the shares. We really love that. Thank you so much. Let other heart-centered entrepreneurs know that we're doing an okay job, and that would be awesome. And join us inside the club. If you are not already inside the club, we'd love to see you there. Scott is there every single day helping you out. I'll see you next Tuesday night.